just go ahead and just find a comfortable seat. If you're going to be using blocks today, just set them to the front short side of your mat. And you're just going to sit up nice and tall and let your hands come to your lap, just hands to thighs or hands resting in your lap, and just close your eyes. How do we become more aware of imbalances as they're beginning to grow in the body and the mind? It's through heightened awareness. And we gain that heightened awareness by mindfulness practices through meditation. So sit tall and notice your body, notice how you feel, notice the movement of your breath. As you sit, beginning just to feel your body and your mind relax. Before we move from this centering, we're going to take a few rounds of a cooling breath, which I refer to as the candle flame breath. You're going to inhale, draw the breath into the body through the nose. Exhale, blow the breath out like you're blowing out candles. Inhale, breathe in through the nose. Exhale, blow the breath out. One last time, breathe in through the nose. Allow your eyes to softly open and transition your body to all fours, tabletop. So coming to hands and knees. So before we start to move here, I just want to have you just do a little check-in with your wrist, right? So see if you can avoid turning your wrist in toward one another and instead either have them parallel to the short side of the mat or like even 10 degrees slightly turned out. Okay? And then inhale, release your belly down toward the floor and lift up through the center of your chest. And then as you exhale, press into your hands and take your tailbone under and round through your spine. As you inhale, let your belly tip down toward the floor, lift up through the center of the chest. And as you're exhaling, press down into your hands, take your tailbone under and round through your spine. Couple more times. Inhale, let the belly release toward the earth, lift up through the heart. So as we're going through these last rounds, what we want to focus on is fluidity, right? Press into the hands, smoothing out the transitions, going in a sense with the flow, right? High fire has a tendency to have difficulty going with the flow, right? So just to few more times. Inhale, tip the belly, lift the heart. Exhale, anchor the hands, tailbone draws under. Okay, inhale, let the belly release. Tip the heart up and forward. And then as you exhale, we're going to press the balls of the feet into the mat. We're going to use down dog here as a transition pose. So just press into the balls of the feet, kind of send the hips a little bit back, and then lift your knees and send your hips up nice and high. Now we're going to walk out for a moment through the feet and through the knees. Now you can always take your feet wider, and you can always come right into forward fold, right? So if you have a shoulder injury or for some other reason you're not taking down dog, we're coming to forward fold at the front short side of the mat in just a moment, right? So you might head straight there. So just feel the spinal column nice and long. Reach out there through the crown of the head. Okay, and then last inhale and exhale here in the downward facing dog. You're going to take your gaze up toward your thumbs and begin to step your feet forward. Couple steps or just one big step with each foot. Okay, and then just let your knees kind of softly bend there, and you can take opposite hand to opposite elbow and just give a gentle sway out side to side. Okay, and then you're gonna let your body find stillness, dangling there in the middle, and then relax your arms, relax your body toward or into your thigh. And then as you're inhaling, begin to let your arms make that big sweep out, right? Like wings of an eagle, rising out to the side, rising up, sending your arms up by the sides of the face, and then joining your palms and bringing your prayer hands into your heart. Inhale, let your arms reach up and along the sides of your face. As you exhale, you're going to bring your right hand to your right thigh, and you're going to tilt your body to the right, standing half moon A. And then as you breathe in, you're going to let your body come back up to the center. So your shoulders are stacked over your hips. And on your next out breath, left hand comes to left thigh, standing half moon A, tilting to the left. As you inhale, come up to the center, reach your fingertips up. Now you're going to exhale, take cactus arms. You want to bend at the elbows and feel your heart lift up toward the sky. Breathing in, let your arms reach back up by your ears. And now prayer hands are going to come together. You're going to let your knees bend, and you're going to hinge your body forward over your legs, coming into forward bend. We're going to take halfway lift. So for the halfway lift, your hands could be on blocks, the shins, or even on the floor if your legs are really flexible. So you're going to inhale, lift your belly, reach out through the crown of your head, and then as you're exhaling, you're going to fold back into your legs. Okay, inhale. Want to put a pretty deep bend in your knees. Start to sweep your arms out like wings, rising up. Reach out long through the crown of your head. Come all the way up. And at the top, let your prayer hands connect. And your prayer hands are going to draw in to your heart. Ever so slightly tip the chin in, almost like you feel like you're gazing into the tops of your fingertips. Let's do that flow 2 more times. Inhale, a circle sweep of your arms. Reach up. Exhale as your right hand comes to your right thigh, tilting over. Inhale as you're rising up. Exhale, left hand to left thigh, side tilt over. Inhale as you're rising up. So we take that one cactus arm. So exhale, let your elbows bend, lift up through your heart. Inhale, reach your arms back up. So you're going to bring your prayer hands to your heart as you bend your knees and fold in. Bowing your face inward to the knees or shins, one halfway lift. Inhale, lift the belly. Feel your spine grow long. Okay, so you feel your spine almost like it's growing out of the pelvis. Reach through the crown of your head, and then exhale, feel your body fold back into your legs. Inhale, let your knees take a deep bend. Sweep your arms out to the sides. rising all the way up, and at the top, your prayer hands join and they come down into the heart. As the hands come to the heart, the chin slightly tips in, and then one last time that flow. Inhale, circle sweep. Exhale, right hand to right thigh, side tilt. Inhale as you rise. Exhale, left hand to left thigh, side tilt. Inhale as you feel a strong rise upward. Exhale, cactusing your arms. Let your heart open up. Inhale, re-extend your arms by your ears. Prayer hands joining, coming through the heart. Let your knees bend and feel your body hinge out over your legs. Fold in. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold into your legs. Inhale, bend your knees and reverse. A big sweep of your arms. Reach your arms up and then let your prayer hands come down into your heart. Inhale, let your arms re-extend back up. This time, prayer hands coming together. We're going to go ahead and fold the body forward over the legs, coming right into forward fold. Now you're going to inhale, take halfway lifts. Your hands might glide up to the shins or the blacks. So one thing I want to invite you to pay attention to today is if your hands are coming up to your shins, not only feel the hands press into the shins, but feel your shins press into your hands, right? So activate the shin bones right into the palms. Now, as you're exhaling, we're going to let the knees bend. We want to get the hands to the floor so we can step back into tabletop. So you're going to reach the feet back, and then you're going to lower your knees down to the floor. So I'm just going to shift the blocks a little bit out of the way. And so we're going to let the weight come into the right knee. You're going to inhale, send your left leg up and then back behind you. So you're going to do some knee contractions here to start connecting into the third chakra space, which is considered to be the seat of fire. So here's the inhale, and as you exhale, you're going to draw your left knee into the body. Now, it can come to your left ribs or it can come to the left elbow. It's whatever you prefer. And then inhale, send your left leg back. Excuse me, lift up through the heart. And then as you exhale, curl your left knee in. Round through your back body. We're going to do that a couple more times. Inhale, left leg is going to lift. Exhale as you curl the knee in. We're going to do that 2 more times. Inhale as you lift the left leg, lift the heart. Exhale as you curl in. Last one. Inhale as you lift. And exhale as you curl the knee in. Inhale, extend through the left leg, and then exhale, lower the left knee down to the mat. Now we're going to come down to the elbows and the forearms. So we're going to take a forearm plank. So you're going to lower to the elbows, forearms, and then your hands join together while your elbows stay apart. So prayer hands, or if you like, you can interlace your hands together. Now, modified forearm plank is just simply walking those knees back so that you have an angle from your hip point to your knees. Now, here you want to find this balance in the shoulders between pressing down so much that the upper back is rounded and between sinking the chest down. You're more like the Goldilocks zone, right? Which is like right in the middle of those two places. Stay there, and it's really easy to want to hang the head. So lift through the chin slightly, reach out through the crown of the head, and if you want for a few moments, just float the knees up into the air. So take a deep inhale. And a deep exhale. Okay, if the knees are lifted, you're going to bring your knees down to the mat, and we are going to bring our body all the way down to the floor. So you can let your hips come down. Then you can let your chest start to come down by taking your elbows a little wide, stacking your hands for a moment. Rest your forehead on your stacked palms, bend your knees so that your heels pull in toward the buttocks, and then you take that light sway of your lower legs from side to side. So knee into chest, the forearm plank, and then Locust pose. Those are poses we're doing to kind of just draw us into that center space, creating more awareness of the upper abdominal region from the belly button up to the bottom of the sternum. So we're going to let the tops of the feet come down to the floor, and you're going to slide your hands so that they're in line with your lower chest and upper ribs. We're going to do some half locust flowing here. It's going to keep your right foot down so the right foot stays tapped to the floor. Hug your elbows in and inhale, lift the chest a little bit and lift your left leg. So Arda Shalabhasana, the half locust pose. And then as you exhale, lower the left leg and you can turn your head to one side, maybe to the right or to the left. We'll just alternate the head turn. And then as you inhale, come back to the center with your face. Tack the left foot down and inhale, float the right leg up. Tailbone draws down and your elbows are going to hug to the sides of the body. Exhale, you're going to turn your head the opposite side. So just let your ear just lightly touch down. And then inhale, come around to the center, face, nose pointing toward the floor. Right foot stays down. Left leg floats up, chest floats up. Exhale, turn the head back to the first side. Keep the left foot down, bring the face back to the center, and then inhale, right leg, elbows hug in, heart lifts up. Exhale, take the ear down, opposite side. Now you're going to work with lifting both legs this time. So bring the face to the center, hug the elbows in, take the tailbone down, and you're going to see if you can float both legs and the heart up into Shalabhasana pose. So you can keep your hands to the floor, or for that moment or two, you might float your hands up an inch or two. So you're going to feel that's stronger in the low back. It also makes your spinal muscles work a little bit harder. So you just have to see if it's the best option or not for you today. We're always changing, right? So we're always taking into account those changes that are occurring moment to moment. Place the hands down. Place the tops of the feet down. Inhale, press up to tabletop. Okay. All right. And then just for a moment, just let's give the wrists a little bit of a break. So we're going to repeat all that on the second side, but just walk up for a second so that you're standing here on your knees. And you can take your arms and just make a big sweep of your arms up and along the sides of the face so that you can interlace your hands and bring the hands to the back of the head and just let your head start to rest into your hands a little bit. So you can just slightly tip your chin up toward the sky. Okay, deep inhale. And a last exhale. And then you can bring your chin back down and then let your arms release. You're just going to repeat all of those poses on the second side. So you're going to bring your hands back down. And as you're landing here in the tabletop position, we're starting with the weight in the left knee this time. So just a quick check in with your wrists, just making sure they're not spinning in, but either straight forward parallel or 10% maybe spinning out. Inhale, send your right leg back behind you, tip your belly down toward the floor. Exhale, curl your right knee in, either your ribs or your right elbow. And then inhale, reach your right leg back out, lift up through your heart. And exhale as you curl in. Inhale as you re-extend your right leg back out, lift up through your heart. Exhale to curl in. 2 more times. Inhale, reach the right leg out. Exhale, curl the knee in. Inhale, reach the right leg out. And exhale to curl in. Inhale, reaching the right leg out. And then exhale, lower the right knee down. We're taking forearm plank one more time. So come down onto your elbows and onto your forearms and bring your hands together in either prayer or interlace your hands together. Walk your knees back, so just kind of inching the knees back until you find an angle from the hip points to the knees. And so you do have to find that balance across the shoulders, right? So you can see if I press into my forearms, how my back starts to come into cat spine, which is fine, right? That's one variation that's going to actually give you more engagement of what's called the rectus abdominis, which is a abdominal muscle right beneath your skin that draws your pubic bone and your bottom of your sternum toward one another. Now, to emphasize a little more neutrality across the back, though, we might see if we can find the middle ground. And then we might stay there, reach long through the crown of the head, and then maybe float the knees up into the air. So you're going to reach out long through your heels, reach out long through the crown of your head, finding that middle space with the shoulders and taking a deep inhale, deep exhale. One more inhale. As you're exhaling, lower your knees and then just slide your knees back a little farther, come down onto your belly. Rest your hands and then rest your forehead. Bend your knees, pull your heels in toward your buttocks, and then take that sway of your lower legs from side to side. Okay, we're going to do one more half locust flow that we've already done. And we're going to start to switch it up a little bit. So you're going to bring the hands, lower chest, upper ribs, hug the elbows in. Top of the right foot down, draw the tailbone down. Inhale, float the chest and the left leg. And then exhale as you lower and turn your head to one side. Inhale as you start to bring the nose to the center. Left foot stays down. Right leg floats up. Elbows hug in. Heart rises up. Exhale, lower the right leg. Turn the head the opposite way. One more set that way. Right foot stays down. Bring your nose to the center. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, lowering down. Inhale, bring your nose to the center. Left foot stays down. Right foot floats up. Heart floats up. Exhale, right foot coming down. Turn your head the opposite way. Our last one is the opportunity to lift both. So bring your nose to the center, hug your elbows in, take your tailbone down, and start to rise your legs and your heart. And then you can keep your hands there. You might float them up, or a little more challenging is to send the arms out to the side. That's harder on the low back, but some of you may feel prepared to do that. Take a inhale and an exhale, and then one more breath in. Okay, now as you're exhaling, you slide your hands back under your lower chest, upper ribs, bring your feet down. Inhale, press up, come into table. Walk your hands in, come up to standing on your knees, shoulders up over the hips, breathe in. Take your arms a big circle around, interlace, hands to the back of the head, tip the chin up. Open through the throat, open through the front body, right? All those poses that we worked with had created this awareness through that belly region. And we want to keep that here, right? So you can notice from the pubic bone to the belly button, lower belly, and then the lower belly to the bottom of the sternum. And then the sternum rising all the way up into the throat and that chin area. Last exhale. Okay, chin is coming parallel to the floor. The hands are releasing now. I'm going to bring the hands down to the floor. We're going to walk the hands off to the left so that we can lean more weight into the left hand, left knee. Begin to lift the right knee and step the right foot through so that you can have your hands just kind of bring them to the center frame for a moment and then come up onto the right thigh. So feel your legs like scissors. I always use the same analogy, like two parts of the scissors coming together, right heel and back knee. So you can see the difference here versus here, right? I actually get a little bit of a lift. And so see if you can also do that. And then bring your right hand to your right hip, left hand crosses your body and the palm meets the outer right thigh. You're going to press your hand and your thigh together. And so much that press starts to initiate a modified twist. And your body might even lean forward. I like to lean forward a little bit, feels less intense on that sacrum area in the low back. Deep inhale, right? So if your hand is there, you can keep the hand. Another option is deep cross more at the elbow. Turn your palm out to face out to the side. That's going to be a little stronger there. So your elbow crease, your wrist crease, and your palm are facing to the right. Deep exhale. Okay, inhale, coming around to the center. Let your hands come down, frame your right foot. So you're going to press into the left ball of the foot and lift up your left knee. So now bend in the left knee, press off the foot and step forward. And then as you're inhaling, half lift. So hands on the blocks, the shins or the floor. Remember, if your hands are on your shins, press your shins back into your hands. Reach out through your head. And then exhale as you bow your body forward into your legs. Release your belly, chest, and face. Now inhale, ground into your feet, bend your knees, and take your arms out. Big wings rising all the way up. Now, as you get to the top, you can keep your arms apart and just hold tall there, or you can interlace your hands, flip your palms up to the sky, and hold there in the bound mountain position for just a moment. Deep breath in, deep breath out. One more inhale with the hands connected like this. Now, as you're exhaling, you're going to start to release your hands, turn your palms to face one another, bring your arms down in front of your chest, straight out. We're going to take the right arm on top, just trying to keep myself from getting confused from this side. So right foot was in front, right foot's going on top. So our right arm's going on top. You're going to give yourself a hug. Right? And actually, while we're here, before we move on, right arm's on top. You're giving yourself a hug. Take your feet a little wide and then just rock across your feet and rock your arms from side to side. Just that little twisting motion. Feels good through the ribs and the low back. Okay, and then you bring yourself to the center. You can bring your feet back underneath of your hips. You're going to either stay here or forearms coming toward one another, or palms and like the hands kind of wrapping around one another. Okay, that's going to require more mobility of the shoulders. So just, go into what feels the best. Now you can stay here, work on the upper arms, or you're going to take your exhale and bend your knees. So you sink down into the feet and sink down into the heels, chair position. Now you can stay here, or you can start putting more weight into your left foot so your right foot comes around. Now that right foot might touch down even to the floor, or you might lift the leg. So lots of options in this one today. Since our emphasis is on that solar plexus region, I do want to offer a little bit more of a challenging variation called the crouching eagle. So to do that, right foot is lifted or kickstand out to the side, and you start to curl your body in, right? Moving in a balance pose is a challenge, right? So you want to stay really focused, move really slow, and know that this is just an option, right? So when you come down, the gaze is now down at your forearms and down toward the floor. You can keep your arms hovering, or if you're close enough, you might tuck in a little deeper. Okay, last inhale, last exhale. Now everything's going to start to unwind. So you can start to unwind your arms, unwind your legs, let your right foot come to plant, and that's a big sweep up of your arms. Okay, prayer hands are going to come together through your heart as you bend your knees and hinge out over your legs, folding forward, bowing in. Inhale, slide your hands up on your shins, reach out long through the crown of your head. Exhale, we're going to step the right foot back, and we're going to lower the right knee down to the mat. So as we're coming back into that low lunge, now you're going to slide your hands up to your front left thigh. Draw the front left heel and the back right knee in toward one another. So you just feel yourself really stable, right? So the movement of fire moves upward, right? So you can think about the flames extending upward to the sky, the smoke that's created that then sort of permeates the whole area. So one thing that we do to help ground those tendencies of fire, which are to be over analytical or to really just get enraptured by the movements of the mind, are movements that open the frontal hip area, like what we're doing now. So let's slide the left hand to the hip. The right hand comes to the outer left thigh. Press the hand and the thigh together and begin to rotate. Now, you can stay right here, or no, you can always take a slightly deeper variation by hooking the arm to the outside, pressing the arm and the leg together, and then rotating your body from there. Deep inhale. Deep exhale. Last breath in here. Okay, now as you exhale, you're going to come around. You're going to let your hands come down to frame your left foot, and you want to lift up your back right knee. because we're going to step forward. It makes it a little easier transition to kind of bend in that back right knee, kind of like you're just going to launch the body forward. So bend the knee, press off, and step forward. So half lift, so hands on the blocks or the shins or the floor. If your hands are on your shins, activate your shins pretty strong into your hands as you reach out through the crown of your head. And then exhale as you fold into your legs. Okay, big breath in, nice circle sweep of the arms, rising all the way up. Now remember here at the top, you can stay in this stretch or you can interlock your hands called the bound mountain. So you can press up through your palms, draw the tailbone slightly down. So on this one, I really don't emphasize, trying to keep those shoulders down. Just press your palms up and you're going to feel a little bit of a rise of your shoulders slightly up toward your ears, right? Doesn't need to be high, but there is a little bit of an upward rotation there. Take a breath in. Now, as you're exhaling, you're going to let your hands begin to release, and then you're going to let your arms come forward in front of the chest so that they're running parallel to the floor. So it's left arm on top. Your arms are like an X. Wrap your arms around your heart. Take your feet wide. A little bit of turn of the toes out, heels in, and then just rock across your feet from side to side. Okay, and then you're going to come back to the center. Turn your 10 toes to face the front short side. You can stay right here, or the forearms can come up, or the hands can wrap. So just knowing, right, these are building on one another from the easiest variation to the more challenging variation. So choose just what works best for your body. Now you can always stay here, breathing across the back of the heart space, or you can exhale and find chair. Right? And this is a grounding position with the legs, but it also does build a fair amount of heat, right? That position, that bent knee, the legs are working really hard. So you're going to stay here or start putting more weight into the right foot, and maybe the left leg lifts. Now remember, the left foot can kickstand or a nice winding of the legs. Stay here just to emphasize that third chakra region, crouching eagle. So take the tailbone under, round in the spine, and take the body forward. Now the arms can be parallel to the floor. You can go a little farther so that maybe there's a connection there. Gaze is down. Deep inhale. Deep exhale. Inhaling, the arms are going to start to unwind. The left leg is going to begin to unwind. The left foot's going to plant. Reach your arms up. We're just going to join the prayer hands over the head and then let the prayer hands come down into the heart. We're going to turn out to face the left long side of the mat. So if the blanket's still there, it's fine. Just step across it. So we're going to take a goddess pose. So you're going to take your feet wide. You're going to turn your heels in and turn your toes out. And you're going to let your knees bend, right? So as my knees bend, you can see the knees are pretty much lining up right over the ankles, versus if my feet were too narrow, my toes might go out pretty far past. Make your stance wide enough. Just let your hands rest right above the knees and just let your shoulders kind of rise up a little bit toward the ears. The body slightly leaning forward and the ribs on the front. Gonna pull in. So we want to think about the energy moving upward. That creates lightness, right? It creates inspiration. There's just an energy around that. And the movement of energy down has more of this calmness, right? So we could even think about, the difference between getting up in the morning and getting going versus winding down for the day and slowing down so that you can sleep. So this is going to bring everything down, right? Closer to the earth, wider feet, deep inhale, deep exhale. One more breath in, one more breath out. Okay, straightening the knees, turning the 10 toes to face the long side of your mat. Slide your hands to your hips. Inhale, tip your heart up, start to draw your elbow point back a little bit. And we're gonna come forward. So just start to bring a little more weight into the balls of the feet. You're gonna start to come forward with your spine. Wide stance, forward fold. So your hands are eventually gonna come under your shoulders. And if your blanket's right there, you can move it. One way to cool the flames of the fire is through forward bends, right? So here, hands as wide as the shoulders. Keep reaching out long through the crown of the head as you press your feet really firm down to the earth. As you exhale, you're going to bend at your elbows and start to fold your body forward in toward your legs. That space between the legs. So you might even, come to your elbows and your forearms if you're close enough to the floor. So there's a chance you may not be that close to the floor, but if you are close enough to the floor, you could maybe bring the elbows and the forearms to the mat. Otherwise, you're on your hands and just giving some time here to feel the full effect of the pose. Right. Last moments. Right. So we're going to start to create length through the spine. So start to rise up onto the hands, lift the belly away from the space as you reach out long through the crown of the head. Now we're going to walk the hands to the right foot. So walk the hands to the right foot, pivoting the feet. Now we're going to keep the hands to the inside of the right foot. And so we're going to just keep that back knee lifted for a moment, and you want to feel the inner thigh of the right leg, right? So we're kind of being a little bit specific about the awareness, but feel the inner thigh of the left leg lift up, right? So instead of sinking the hips down, lift the hips up a little bit higher. You can stay on your full palms, or sometimes what I like to do is just take my elbows and just this little bend, or another third option is so it's a variation of the lizard pose with the back leg lifted, back knee lifted. So you press strong into your feet. You might be down on the blocks if you have a set of blocks to use. Chin is slightly in. So you can always lower the back knee down, right? If you like a variation that's a little more supported, um, take the back knee down. All right, last breath in and last breath out. We're going to lower that back left knee down for a moment and come up to the hands if you're not already there. Now, to get to the other side, lean to the left, into the left hand, left knee, and sweep that right leg back behind you. Okay, so take the blocks. If you're using the blocks, just switch them over to the right side for a moment and come to the center. And then inhale, tip the belly down to the mat. Exhale, press into your hands and round your spine. Okay, inhale, neutral. Now we're going to walk to the right. You got to walk your hands out to the right, lean to the right hand, right knee, and then step the left foot forward. Now you can work with this pose with the back knee down, or you're going to activate the back ball of the foot and elevate your knee, right? So just think about the back of the right thigh, and even more specifically, the inner right thigh, and lift up so that you feel your hips up a little bit higher. Now you want to try to keep the lift of the inner right thigh even as you start to come down. Now, your hips might come down a little bit more, but you still have the awareness of the inner right thigh lifting up. Now you can stay on your hands. You can come to your elbows and your forearm on blocks or the floor. So for me, the floor is a little bit, deep, but it may feel okay for you. So you can be just on the hands, the forearms supported higher. But bring the gaze down wherever you land. Bring the gaze down. Soften your eyes. Deep inhale. Deep exhale. Okay. So if the back knee is lifted, we will lower it down just to make the transition a little gentler. Rise up onto the hands if you're not already. Lean to the right hand, right knee. Step the left leg back. Hands to the mat, blocks off to the side. Come to all fours. Spread your fingers. Inhale, tip your belly down. Exhale, activate your hands. Draw your tailbone under. Inhale, neutral. All right. Legs out to the right or to the left. So swivel your legs out to the side. Sit out onto the opposite hip and swing your legs around in front of you. And then you're going to come to kind of like the middle of the mat and you're going to bring your body all the way down to the floor. All right. As you arrive, let your knees bend and your feet come flat. Just sway your legs from side to side. All right, point your knees up. You're going to just bring your feet a little closer and you're going to pick up your right foot and just simply hug your right knee and thigh into your right rib area. So hands can be on the shin bones, they can be on the back of your right thigh. The knee can even slide an inch or two to the right. Just really feel like your back body is just kind of snuggling down into the floor. So shoulder blades release, back of the head releases. So one thing we want to work with when we feel this excessive movement up into the mind, to where the mind might get overly analytical, or we might notice our mind being hypercritical or excessive judgment, right? Those are all key indicators that the element of fire is slightly in excess. So this pose is called Arda Apanasana, named in honor of Apanavayu, which is the directionality of breath that moves down. So what we want to do is ground some of that energy so that we're in a more open and compassionate space, more of a calm, present space. So let's stay here for just a few more moments. But if you like, if your left leg is not extended, you're welcome to extend the left leg out along the floor. Press out through your left heel. So sometimes the leg will get relaxed, but here I'm going to invite you to press out through the heel, almost as though if something were in front of you and you were trying to touch it with your left heel. All right, deep inhale and last exhale here. Okay, so the first thing that's going to move is the left leg. If you have the leg extended, rebend the knee, plant the foot. Release your hands from your right foot or your right shin. Let your right foot come down. Take your feet wide and then lower your knees to the left because we're just going to emphasize opening up through that right hip now. Arms go wide. So here, while we're here, feel the inner edge of your right foot. So there's this really gentle press of the inner edge of the right foot to the mat. And then you almost want to feel like the tailbone's almost slightly drawing under. And when you do that, your right knee is going to feel like it's reaching toward the front short side. All these movements is like these little tiny micro movements, right? So we're learning to pay attention to all these small things, which increases our capacity for awareness. Deep inhale. Deep exhale. All right, coming back to the center. As your knees rise to the center, just sway them from side to side. Okay, Point your knees up, bring your feet closer, pick up your left foot, hug your left thigh in toward your ribs, loop the hands around to your shin bones or the back of your left thigh. So when we look at this posture, um, more superficially, it may seem like a very simplistic pose. I feel energetically this pose is so profound in its energetics of just that settling, right? Dropping us in. It's really important, right? Because we spend so much time sending our energy out into the external world, caring for others, taking care of our home, with our job. It's important to drop back in to the center, which allows us to show up in all those other roles um, more present and more effectively. Okay, for the last moments, if you haven't already, you can extend your right leg. So just press out through the right heel. Last inhale and last exhale. It's going to be the right leg that moves first. So you're going to bend your right knee, place your right foot flat. You're going to release your hand, release your left foot. You're going to take your feet wide, right? And then we're going to lower the knees to the right. So here it's the inner edge of the left foot. We're just going to have a little press. It's like 10%, right? 10% pressure down. The tailbone is going to slightly draw under as the left knee feels almost like it's just reaching toward the front short side of the mat. So just emphasizing the feeling of opening around the left side of the belly, inside of the left hip, down through the left side. Okay, last exhale. Then you're going to breathe in and come back to the center. And then again, just that sway of the knees, clearing the back, clearing the tension from the hips, clearing the mind. Okay, pause, pick up your right foot and your left foot, knees to chest, full Apanasana now. Wrap your hands around to your shins. You might even hold your hands like opposite hand to wrist or interlace, or somehow holding hands maybe, and then rocking across your low back. Okay, we're gonna take a full body stretch. It's a way of just energizing the body, creating length through the muscles, right? So, Mariana, sometimes she calls it the morning stretch, right? And that's called that for a reason, right? When we get out of bed in the morning, right, we might stretch. That's what my dog does, right? She takes downward facing dog. She lifts her chin up towards the sky. It's really cute. Like she just instinctively knows she's been curled in this little ball all night, so she just stretches her body out. Right? So press through your heels, reach long through the sides of your body as you stretch your arms by your sides of your face, just in honor of calm alertness as we begin the day today. When you're ready, you're going to bring your arms down by your legs. You're going to let your heels drop down and let your toes fall open. Your palms can face up, or you can lay the hands onto the body and let your eyes softly close. So we are all an individual, unique manifestation of these five elements. Think of it as like your elemental DNA. And when the element of fire is in excess, or if we just naturally have a constitution that's higher fire, we may notice that we have a hard time relaxing. And so I'm inviting you now just to release the bones of your body down, to feel your face relax. Overthinking causes our face to kind of tense up. We might furrow our brow, hold the tension around the eyes, feel everything relax. It's important for high fire to take time to pause and to notice the beauty that is around you. And so, taking in the good, we might say. And so, you can do that here in Shavasana by noticing the gift of your breath. Allowing your body to continue to rest on the floor, coming back to feeling the inhale and the exhale. You can allow your knees to bend one at a time. Place your feet to the floor and roll the body over to the right or to the left, coming to side lying. Pressing your hands down and then letting your body start to rise back up, coming to your seat. As you arrive seated, let your hands come together at your heart. Take your chin slightly in. The light within me bows to that same light that exists within you. Namaste.